Hey everyone, it's the Angry Honey Badger, and it's time for another champion build video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Lucian, the newest AD carry in the game, at least at the time of this video being made. Going to be playing him obviously down here in bot lane with my support, and we're going to be farming for now. Early on in the game, I like to start with a Dorans Blade for just some extra damage, a little bit of health there. And we'll get a little bit of extra damage, like I said, and then get a little bit of life back when you do attack those minions, or whenever you are just standard attacking. We're going to go ahead and cover his abilities, his build. We're going to talk about everything. First, we're going to start off early in this game by talking about his abilities and what order we max those out in. So first we have his passive, which is called Light Slinger. And every time you use an ability, your next attack will then, basically you'll get a double attack. You get second shot twice. So your second shot, though, deals 50 to 75% of your base AD. So you get two standard attacks in a row, the second one not being as powerful as the first, but still you get a quick little double shot. And there we were able to pick up a fairly early kill on Lux, who we will be trashing all during this game, and we'll be working on that. So that is your passive. Very good, fun passive, and when you do kind of keep using all of your abilities in a sequence, you get off a lot of damage really quick because of it. So it's a very strong passive. It works really, really well, and right now it makes him a very good champion. It's kind of like a better version of Quinn's passive, really. Next, there is his Q ability, which is the Piercing Light. I put a point into this at level 1. We'll be maxing this out first. What that does is after 0.4 second delay, you fire a laser, and you're going to deal some attack damage, and you're going to hit enemies, minions, take 75% less damage. It's a fairly good poke. It works really well at shooting through minions at them in the back. It's pretty good poke. Farms alright too. It's decent damage, and that's why we're going to be maxing that out first. And then obviously your passive will then proc after you do use that. So remember to either shoot minions that you want to double hit, or you can shoot the enemy then to get 2 shots off on them real quick. Then at level 2, what we're going to be doing is putting a point into your Blaze, which is your W ability. You're going to fire a shot that explodes upon hitting an enemy or reaching the end of its path, and it's going to deal some damage to them, and then it's going to mark the target as well. So there's a lot of things going on with that ability. The flat movement speed bonus for 2 seconds if it does not consume the mark. So basically you can consume that mark, and it works out really well in your behalf. So here I'm going to try to come help our support out, but was not able to get there in time, and Ezreal will pick up a quick kill. Unfortunate. As for our Blaze, we are going to max that out second, and that'll be finished off by about level 13. Finally, at level 3, I put a point into my E ability, which is our Relentless Pursuit. You do a little short distance burst in a direction, and it will proc your passive once again, and its cooldown will be reset if you score a kill or assist during the culling. And it also, I believe it removes slow effects. So if you get slowed by someone, you can just use that quick burst, get some distance between you, and you are able to get rid of those slow effects. So that's also a very nice thing about his Relentless Pursuit. And then finally, there is his ultimate. You're going to be firing those bullets in that straight line. You got to be careful on how you aim this. We're going to talk a little bit about this and see how it's done in this game. We'll see a few okay examples, a few not so okay examples. It's a little bit tough, especially if they get out of the line of fire really quickly, because you can't correct the direction in which it's firing. So you do need to be careful with that. It does deal a lot of damage though, so it is a very good ultimate. If you can get all of it going off on someone, you can pretty much almost kill somebody with it fairly early on if they're just taking all the damage. So it does triple damage to minions, so don't be afraid about using it. If they run behind minions, you're just going to blow through the minions really, really quickly. So that's just something to maybe just remember about his ultimate when you are firing it at them. So we covered his abilities. Obviously, you're going to take your ultimate at level 6, 11, and 16. Early on in this game, though, we bought a Vampiric Scepter in the first part of our boots and a BF Sword. What we're trying to do is build towards a Bloodthirster as your first item. You're going to really want that maximum damage early just with a BF Sword. It's going to make your standard attacks and your passive, when it does proc, you're going to deal so much more damage. So it's very helpful. Here we're going to open up with the ultimate on Ezreal, pretty much get him worked down. He is going to get away. I'm going to flash, though, and then use Relentless Pursuit to go ahead and jump in to pick up that kill real quick. We are going to move over towards Lux now. She is going to flash, though, to get a little distance between us, and that is going to be just barely enough for her to save her, because I don't really want want to tower dive her and die. So picked up a kill and forced her to go back. We'll keep farming and pushing this lane then because of that. But early on in this game, what you really want to do is probably pick up that Bloodthirster. I did try Blade of the Ruined King a few times. Just doesn't have that early hard physical damage, especially it doesn't stack as hard with your abilities, and it doesn't give you the damage quite as much early that you want. So the Bloodthirster I really do recommend over Blade of the Ruined King on him. It just really hurts a lot, and it just feels better, last hitting's a lot easier, and, you know, it's a good item. So we have built that early on in this game. Right now we are going to start to build towards our boots, which is just going to be pretty standard stuff there. We're going to go ahead and go with our Berserker Greaves, which is going to give us that increased attack speed and our movement speed. And we're going to probably go ahead and take this dragon right now. We do have the advantage in bot lane. We just killed both of them. And so we're going to be able to pick up a free dragon. No one's going to be able to contest us. Tried to get Diana there because we knew she was going back, but just a little bit out of range without becoming unsafe. So we're going to go ahead and pick up those boots in just a second. We're going to obviously keep farming too. One thing I will say, if you do play AD carries, I know it's always not a struggle, but something to get used to is their different attack animations. His feels just a little bit odd, so I'm not really last hitting with him yet perfectly, and so I've been missing some farm, but just, you know, pay attention to attack animations, and once you get those down, then you'll be able to keep shooting the enemy better and last hitting better. So just one thing to really remember when you are playing a champion. He feels a lot better once you get a little bit more attack speed on him as the game continues, but early on it feels really weird. Gonna pick up a quick kill on Lux. We are just gonna get her caught out all the time in bot lane this game, so she's not really worth any gold since she's died 5 times, but it's still pretty good to kill people. Feels nice. This next time back at base, we're gonna actually start building the next part of our build. Because that makes sense, we're at base. We're going to go ahead and pick up a Sheen, which is going to proc really well after we're using our abilities, especially with that double standard attack after we use an ability. So you're just going to be hitting him a little bit harder by having that Sheen. With this Sheen, obviously, if you don't know, we're going to be building this into a Trinity Force. And Trinity Force recently has been buffed. Probably normally I would have built it anyways on him because it just works with his kit really well. So we're getting all types of extra damage off. Going to be alting Lux right there and picking up a quick kill. And then we're going to have Karma come in too and kill the Ezreal. We're going to go ahead and push this lane down too, because that's why we were all down there. We wanted to push that lane. I think we're going to lose mid to Diana, who's doing fairly well on their team too, but we're going to go ahead and keep working on the rest of the build. Now, with Triforce is amazing on him right now, so highly recommend that item. That's what we are building towards. That Sheen, though, if you don't know, every time you use an ability, your next basic attack is going to deal bonus damage based off of your attack damage. So once you build it into Triforce, that bonus damage is physical damage equal to 200% of your base attack damage. So if you hit them with a Q, and let's say it hits them for 200, which is pretty conservative, and then your next standard attack is going to deal your standard attack damage plus 200% bonus damage, and your standard attack is 180, which is pretty conservative in the middle of the game. Then your next attack then is going to also have that 200% increased damage on it. So you're going to be dealing a lot of damage once you get that Triforce. There's an example of the ult just barely going the wrong direction, but we're going to go ahead and keep chasing him. Luckily with Nami, whenever she puts an ability on me, it is going to be speeding me up, so she is going to keep dropping abilities on me so I can kind of catch up to them. I am also waiting for a Relentless Pursuit to come off cooldown, in which I will use to get forward and snipe her and double shot her real quick. Going to pick up the kill then quick on Lux. Now, Ezreal knows we're kind of low, and I can see that he started coming back towards us, so I'm actually just going to kind of loop right back up around here real quick. Relentless Pursuit will be off cooldown by the time I get over to him in 2-1, and now it's back up. I can see him, he's low. If I can hit him real quick and I have that Sheen, I will kill him, so a little quick dash and shooting him will go ahead and secure that kill and make me legendary. So you get some awesome damage with the Sheen and the Triforce. We're going to go ahead and keep building, obviously, to get closer to finishing off that Triforce. We also do get the Zeal involved with that and the Phage. So you do get some increased movement speed with the Phage, and you get some increased movement speed with the Zeal, and attack speed and crit chance. Just Triforce is a really good item. It just kind of makes him really well-rounded. So that's why we are going to be building that. We're going to finish that off probably the next time we go back at base. And that's what we're working towards. So just works really well. We're going to see a lot of examples of using an ability on somebody and blowing them up. So kind of like right here. This Diana right now is decently fed, but we're going to go ahead and use the ultimate. It was an okay one, not the best. She got around the corner to try to get away from it, but we're going to go ahead and blow her up real quick and end her off. And maybe you just regroup after a second. Gold count's still fairly close in this game. Not too far off there, but we definitely do have the kill advantage. And turrets are currently equal, so, you know, pretty close so far at least. And gonna get into another little fight and use just all types of stuff. Keep shooting him, get those procs, keep using abilities, and keep double attacking them and getting that Sheen to proc. So lots of damage, killing the Skarner and taking the mid tower. So we're going to go ahead and head back to base at this point, and we're going to finish off that Trinity Force. Now we have lots of fun damage, and we're going to be able to just use all of our abilities damage out of that, and Triforce and our passive all combined as one. Now, as for your masteries this game, what you're probably going to want to do is your pretty standard stuff. You're going to go with 21-9-0 page, 21 in the offense. You know, pick up everything, gives you increased attack damage and attack speed, and that's going to be very helpful stuff to do. And then, what you're going to want to do is 9 in that defense, pick up early health, and that's going to definitely help you out if you're getting 1v1s or 2v2s, obviously, in bottom lane. And then pick up a little bit of armor, which will help you out early since you're going to be mostly taking physical damage while you are in the laning phase of the game. So go ahead and pick something of that up there. And obviously then you're going to be good to go with your masteries. Now, when it comes down to your runes, what I like to do with those is pretty standard for your AD carries. What you're going to want to go with is either armor penetration marks or attack damage marks. You can go with armor seals, magic resist per level glyphs, and then AD quintessences, or what I lately have been taking is lifesteal. Now here, I knew Diana was around. I was kind of baiting it out. Luckily she did show up, and I was able to just blow her up real quick. You can see that damage with that Triforce really does add up really quick, and you can end people pretty quick, especially with someone like Diana, who is a fairly tanky caster and builds usually fairly, you know, beefy, since she has a Giant's Belt and everything. But this last time we were back at base, we're going to go ahead and keep building items to go towards our build. We did pick up another BF sword and a pickaxe. We're going to be building those two items into an Infinity Edge, which is going to give us just, you know, tons of increased damage. It's going to give us 70 attack damage and 25% crit chance, and our crits are going to deal 50% critical damage, blah, 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 blah. So you get extra damage on your crits. Fun stuff. It's an Infinity Edge. So that's what we're working on next, and that's just going to obviously help with all types of abilities when we shoot, especially that double proc on that passive. That's kind of the important thing to make sure you get off on the enemy. You want to hit them, and you want to make sure you shoot them when your passive has been procced and you're able to use it on them. It's going to definitely just annihilate them, especially with an Infinity Edge with big crits, that Sheen, which is part of that Triforce to give you even more damage. It's just going to really do a lot to end them off. But so far, I do think he is a good champion right now. He is fairly strong. He might get a little bit of a tweak. I wouldn't doubt it. But I will say one thing. He does eat his mana up a lot in lane, so you will go through your mana fairly quick. Usually what I try to do is convince my support to take a mana manipulator so we both get mana regen from it. So that's what we did this game, which does help a lot in lane. If you can do that, you really should have a pretty easy time winning your lane. So just remember, try to ask them to pick up a mana manipulator. I'm going to go ahead and get into a little bit of a fight, blow Skarner up, and then work on the Diana, who will also die, picking up a quick double kill. And it's going to be nice. We have that Infinity Edge now. So we have our 3 main big items, and then we have our boots. Now, next, as the game continues, it depends on what they are building and what you want to do to counter that. If it's a team that's stacking a lot of health, at this point in the game, you could get your Blade of the Ruined King. It's not going to be bad. It's going to give you that attack speed. It's going to give you that damage based on their health, too. So it would be a good item at this point if you need it, if they're stacking tons of health. If they are building lots and lots and lots of armor, then obviously you're probably going to want to consider picking up something like a Last Whisper to help you out there with the with the armor penetration and the increased attack damage that it also gives you too. So a Last Whisper would be a good item. If you're not worried about either of those things and things are going fine right now, I'm just going to go ahead and continue with a Phantom Dancer. That is going to be a great item just for more crits and more attack speed and increased movement speed and the passive on that where I ignore unit collision. So helping me become very mobile with my kit and just killing people a lot easier that way. So that's what you can do with those items. And then finally for your last item, depending on what you want to do, if you want to pick up a Guardian Angel, never a bad idea. Armor and magic resist, always helpful, and then if you die, you get to come back. But luckily, I haven't died this game. I don't think. No, I have not. And so I don't have to really worry about that right now. So we're just, like I said, just doing that Phantom Dancer right now, and that's going to be very helpful for just more damage and just some overall attacks. But they're actually going to go ahead and lose right now, and so we're going to win. So if you have any questions about anything, you put those in the comments below. But other than that, I'll just see all of you in the next build video. Here we find Vladimir taking my blue buff. I'm actually just going to drop everything, ignite him, and with the true damage and the ignite from true damage, he's going to die. I'm going to get my blue buff, and he basically had full life, and he's stacking life and magic resist.